welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Tayler and
Colleen and Chelsea.
Station 59 podcast. We have our first collaboration and we're so excited.
I'm so hype. I've been very much looking forward to this.
Me too. Do you want to introduce yourself and like your podcast?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I guess. Whatever. Talking about myself.
Literally,
my name is Yeah, exactly. My name is Chelsea Deanne. I host a podcast called Station 59 where I deep dive into the paranormal and strange occurrences throughout history. And also like cryptids and stuff sometimes. Just like, freaky stuff. I do that.
Weird stuff. Wait, what did you say about history?
I do like weird historical occurrences as well. So I'm just a weird person who likes weird things. And
that's what we were like in our meeting with you, because Colleen loves like historical stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, it's like a blend of both. She likes the paranormal and you like true crime too, but it's not a true crime podcast.
Yeah, I did like a true crime paranormal balance when I first started the show. Mm-hmm. And then turns out that I am not mentally well enough to read about people dying every week. So we scaled it back a little bit. And then every now and again, we might dip our toes in.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I am too. Like there are times where I'm just like, I don't really feel like talking about people getting chopped up this week. So we're going to do something a little different just because like, it wasn't the vibe.
Yeah. I actually had enough reasons to cry this week, so I don't really want any more.
I know. Well, sometimes I do survivor stories, and those can be like way more horrific sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did we survive this? So happy you're with us, but geez Louise, what a nightmare.
But I'm always excited for those ones because I'm glad they survive at least. Right. I feel a little bit lighter. I mean, they went through some stuff, but they survived.
But yeah. But we met with Chelsea like, what was it, a week ago now? It feels like it was like
Yeah, I think so.
And we were supposed to talk for like an hour. Like we would just set up like an hour, and I think we talked for like 2.5 hours because like we were all just like, are we all best friends now? Like this is so fun.
We planned like multiple episodes in one.
Oh yeah.
We're like, wait, don't talk about it yet. We'll talk about it in an episode.
We documented her cat, Sweeney Todd.
You'll probably make an appearance again at some point.
We can only.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we made a new friend. Yeah. So exciting. And for our listeners, since obviously you like paranormal, go over to Station 59 and check out her episodes because there'll be some different stuff on there. She likes the historical stuff. And also, if you just want to hear a different version of something we've told too.
Yeah.
I've listened to this stuff on multiple different podcasts.
Story's so nice, you got to hear it twice.
Exactly.
Well, we have a special episode. Like we said, this is a collaboration episode. So we decided we were going to all do one story together where we're going to cover the true crime and paranormal. And it's really cool because Chelsea's actually been to this place. We are doing the Villisca Axe Murders tonight. And then the subsequent hauntings afterwards.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I was going to be like, woo woo. Then I was like, that feels inappropriate.
I do for you.
We're not cheering for what happened. We're cheering that we get to talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if that made it any better, but
we're having a slumber party where we talk about all the horrible things.
Exactly.
And learn from them.
And it's a little bit lighter, so you get to learn about it and not feel like you go to bed depressed.
You just ruined your whole night.
Yeah.
You're not alone in reading and learning about it. You get to talk about it with other people.
Yeah,
exactly.
But all right, so I'm kicking it off with the murder part, but Chelsea knows a lot about this. So Chelsea, you just pause me, jump in when you want. All right, Tayler and Chelsea, I've got something to tell you. And we're going to picture this slowly together. It's 1912. We are in Villisca, Iowa. The population is about 2,000 people. It's the kind of town we've gotten to know and love. Small town where nothing bad happens. People don't lock their doors. They trust everybody around them. But as we know, small town, shit goes down. Now, in that town lived a family named the Moores. Josiah Moore was 43 years old. He owned a farm equipment business in town. He was described as friendly, sociable, and was very involved in community life. His wife, Sarah Moore, was 39. She was also active in their community and even more in the Presbyterian Church. Together, they had 4 children, which, Taylor, I know you don't know this story. Remember the ages of the children as we go through it because it makes it all like so much worse, okay?
I will try.
There'll be a quiz. So Herman was the oldest, age 11. Catherine was age 10. Boyd, age 7. And Paul, age 5. Now, like I said, Sarah, the mom, was very active in the church. And on Sunday, June 9th, 1912, they went to church like they did every week. That evening was a special service, though. It was Children's Day. The kids performed readings and songs. Sarah had helped organize it, and the Moore kids participated. After the program ended around 9:30 p.m., Catherine, the 10-year-old daughter, invited 2 girls from church to spend the night. Ina Mae Stillinger, age 8, and Lena Gertrude Stillinger, age 12. The girls walked home with the Moore family, and neighbors recalled seeing them all together. The family and the 2 girls arrived at the Moore house between 9:45 p.m. and 10 p.m. So now something interesting I read about that night, which I don't know if it's entirely true, but it added a creepy level to it, is I guess all of the street lights were out that night. Okay, you've heard this too?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember why? Because I could not find a specific reason why.
From what I remember, there actually weren't street lights at all at the time. And so the reason, and this is just from the tour guide when I went and visited there, the reason that the Stillinger girls were there at all is because they were too afraid to walk home by themselves because it was dark.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. And so they called Stillinger mom and dad and said, hey, the girls are really scared. We're just going to keep them at our house and we'll drop them by in the morning.
Oh.
Not to bring it down first thing.
That's
what get worse.
That makes it so much worse, though.
This
one also kind of reminds me of like the Ketty Cabin murders and just like weird like coincidences of like, oh, you shouldn't have been there, or like that kind of stuff. So that's always like, I don't know, those little scary facts are kind of what makes it even more interesting. But so they settle in for the night. The parents and the boys go to sleep while the girls probably stayed up a little later enjoying their super fun slumber party. The next morning is when everything shifts. Josiah owns the store in town, but he never shows up to open it, which is immediately odd for him. He's well known for being reliable. And again, it's a small town, so it's weird that he wouldn't be there. And they're all talking about it already. The Moores also have like a small farm with some cows and horses. And so every morning the kids would get up and like go take care of the animals and stuff. And so their neighbor notices that the kids aren't awake. Nobody's out feeding the horses or the cows. So she goes over, which at first I was like, pesky neighbor, like mind your business. But then I changed my tune about her. She's very helpful and a nice lady. So Mary Peckham is the neighbor, and she walks over to knock on the door, but sees that all the curtains are shut and the house is quiet. She decides to help the Moores out and feeds the animals and does what she can outside while also watching the house for any movement, and there's nothing. So she starts to worry because somebody should be up by now, and she decides to check the doors. They are all locked. She knocks on the door again, tries to see if she can see inside. Nothing. Finally, she calls Josiah Moore's brother, Ross, who has a key to the house. He arrives at the house a little after 8 a.m. to unlock the door and see what's going on. What he steps into, though, is an absolute nightmare. Now, first, remember it's June, so it's hot. And once he opens the door, the smell hits him first. It is the unmistakable stink of death. So he calls out for the brother and there's no answer. He goes inside. The house looks normal. There's no like chaos, no broken furniture, no signs of struggle. It definitely reeks, but I also read that it's like extra dark in there. So all the curtains are closed, but it looked like somebody had like put like extra curtains up to like really make sure nobody could see in there. Did you hear about that too, Chelsea? Yeah, isn't that creepy?
Yeah. And that is, in my little tidbit, that is something that is important to remember.
Yes. Oh yeah, we got theories we're coming up on.
Remember already?
Just take stock of that little note.
Sarah, did you bring your notebook? We talked about this.
You have to solve this case by the end of this episode. Did you
put it in my
that?
brain.
So Ross checks the guest room, and that's downstairs, and it's like off from the parlor, which I just assume is a living room. And this is where Ina May and Lena Stillinger were sleeping. He walks in and finds the room covered in blood. The girls had had their heads completely crushed in. The bedding was soaked, the walls and the ceilings had splatter all over it, and the girls were still in bed, but their skulls had been bludgeoned. Sorry, Taylor, I know that's your favorite word.
I know, I hate that word.
It's going to be in here a lot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we bleep it? I'm just kidding.
There's also like later investigators would say that they had to identify the girls by the names that they had on their Bibles in the room with them because they could not recognize these people. That's how bad it was, which I was like, that's dark. Ross does not go any farther in than that room. He immediately leaves the house and calls the town marshal. Good man. Sometimes we read these things and they like keep exploring. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Get out.
Yep. Moonwalk out of there. So now Marshal Henry Hank Horton, say that 10 times fast.
What a name.
Yeah. He shows up and he has to do the part that no one wants to do. He has to find the rest of the bodies. He first confirms the scene that Ross discovered in the guest room, then he heads upstairs. He goes into Josiah and Sarah's bedrooms first, and they're in bed, still under the covers, but there's blood everywhere. Josiah is the closest to the door. Sarah is beside him. Both of them have been struck in the head with something heavy. The blows are concentrated, repeated, and crushing. Here's something investigators would later note, is that Josiah appears to have been hit first, hard, likely incapacitated immediately, while Sarah might have woken up and actually like maybe blocked herself because she kind of looks moved in an odd way, but they both hit in the head. They're both bludgeoned pretty extremely. There's no sign of like prolonged fight, so this was, while very violent, fast. Horton walks down the hallway to the children's room. This is when it becomes almost unbearable. I'm not going to go in like big detail here because I really don't want to describe it, but it is 4 small beds, 4 small bodies, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, all on their beds, all struck in the head in the same violent way, multiple times. All rooms are completely dripping in blood, and there are actually scrapes on the ceiling. So whatever, it was an axe. I mean, no shocker there, but we said axe murders at the beginning. But whenever he like went back, it was so big and violent that it actually like scraped the ceiling of the rooms.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Were the ceilings?
What?
Wait. Were the ceilings like short?
So in the parents' bedroom, it's a slanted ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there was enough height that you could have sat up in bed, but it's a pretty low ceiling that comes straight down. So if you're standing up, you're kind of brushing the ceiling if you're next to the bed, like where their heads would have been.
That makes sense.
It's a very, very small house.
Okay.
You could have told her it was like a wildly tall ceiling, so she's just imagining
it was the boogeyman.
It was Andre the Giant was in there. That's one of the theories. Just kidding.
I love it. I kind of like that theory.
Don't stop spoiling my research. I only have so much.
Oh
no. Sorry. Spoilers everywhere. Again, if they had not known though that this was the family inside this house and like who was supposed to be where, they would have not been able to identify these people. That's how violent they were attacked.
Please.
pause here for a second because this is the moment. This is not an explosion of rage. This was room to room, bed to bed, 8 times. And Horton goes back downstairs, and now he starts noticing things that don't line up with like a frantic intruder. So everything feels very like systematic. Like they did things in a way that they thought through. They took the parents out first, and like, you know, that leaves the kids basically unprotected. They're taking out the adults first so that the kids are easy targets. And then when he goes downstairs, it's weird because there's also a kerosene lamp sitting, but it's like turned down super low. So remember how it was really, really dark that night? There's no street lights. There's no lights in the house. Everything's covered. So this kerosene lamp is just sitting there like super dimmed. So it was like somebody had been walking through the house to at least find their way through it.
Ew, I don't like that.
I knew it. Several mirrors in the house have been covered with clothing. The victim,
Weird.
Yep. Well, and I found that interesting because that's like a Victorian practice for death, right? Is that part of your theory?
So sorry, I was looking. You brought up something that I forgot to put in my notes, so I had to try to fix that really quick. Yes, so that was a really common Victorian death practice. It's believed that if you covered, or if you didn't cover a mirror in a house where someone had just died, their soul could become trapped in the mirrors. This is a tidbit as well. It is believed that there was a religious aspect in some way to the nature of the killing because of the mirrors being covered, that for whatever reason, the killer either didn't want their souls getting trapped, or he didn't want, perhaps some theory, his soul getting trapped while he was doing such a heinous thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the religious aspect is very interesting, and I totally don't have anything else to say about that.
I mean, that was me just theorizing because I went to the Whaley house by myself like an idiot, but I was trying to be brave. And they like have you been there? Like you kind of walk through it like it's like a museum now, but
I haven't been there, but I've done an episode.
Okay, but so you're walking through it and they have mirrors, but like you get to a certain room and the mirrors were covered, and so I was like, and Taylor and Norman have told me how mirrors are like super portals, so I was definitely scared. And then I asked the guy as I'm leaving, I'm like, hey, why do you guys cover the mirrors? And they're like, oh, well, it's a Victorian death practice or ritual or whatever the right thing is. And he's like, but we just did it for Halloween. And I was like, okay, it worked because it scared me.
I'm spooked.
You guys have reminded me that this is the most haunted place in America or whatever, and multiple times. And now you have your mirrors covered. So well done.
I have a question really quick.
Yes.
Because like from one of the other episodes you covered, like when they know the families, they cover the bodies, right? But not the mirrors.
Well, a lot of people
thinking like maybe he didn't want to see himself.
Yeah. Well, he covered, I was just about to say that we're assuming it's a man. He also covered their faces. So they noticed that all of the bodies were covered in their bed sheets. So yeah, good job, Taylor. She listened.
Yay! Extra credit on the test.
From the other
She will.
routine information.
She will solve it. She's a very good detective. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna have this big reveal, and she's like, so and so did it. I'm like, cool.
Well, never mind.
You're like, Norman, cut that.
Stop stopping everything. Okay, so the mirrors were covered. The victims' faces were all covered in their bed sheets. So yeah, like again, we're gonna go into theories. But could mean that he knew them. And then in the kitchen, there's a bowl with bloody water in it, like someone had washed their hands. And I read in some accounts, which I couldn't confirm if it was true or like it was kind of inconsistent, but some people said that they might have eaten something in the kitchen, like hung out there and eaten. But I couldn't find if that was like 100% true or if it was just people like trying to make it scarier. And I was like, that worked because that would be terrifying. Like who eats I mean, I guess he built up an appetite, 8 people. But,
I mean,
but yeah, I was like, if true, terrifying. The murder weapon, like I said, if didn't guess it already, was the axe. And it was Josiah Moore's own axe. So whoever had done this found the murder weapon in the Moore home and used it to obliterate the entire family. And I said, and ruin what was probably a really fun slumber party.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Oh my God. I'm such a mess right now. I keep adding things to my notes.
Oh, girl.
Keep reminding me of things, and I'm like, yeah.
Good, I'm glad. So like I said, there was definitely a sequence investigators later pieced together that most likely order based on blood patterns, body positions, who appeared to have been struck first. And almost everyone agrees that this is how the order went, that Josiah was first, which means, again, they neutralized the adult male in the house first, then Sarah, which just leaves the kids completely vulnerable. Here's what gets even darker, is that some reports suggest that Lena, the older Stillinger sister who was in the downstairs room, may have been awake. Her body was found in a slightly different position than the others. There was evidence that she may have sat up or turned before she was struck, which, if that is true, means she might have been the only one who realized what was happening. And that is horrific.
Mm-hmm.
So after all of that, after 8 people are slaughtered in one house, this is where the case becomes not only horrifying, but infuriating, because you would think this is the biggest crime Villisca has ever seen. 8 people, 6 children, a whole family wiped out. So surely the authorities show up and seal the house. They preserve the scene. They keep everyone out. They do careful investigation. No. It's 1912. There is no crime scene tape. And there is even an announcement. So like the local telephone operator makes like a general call to the town telling them what happened. And they're all like, they all show up. And
it's like a big group call.
Yeah.
It's literally like the town crier. He's going, hear ye, hear ye.
It's like one call like to everybody in town being like murder. And they all just show up and start walking through the house and are like touching things and like trudging through blood. And Taylor's like, absolutely not.
I would not be rushing over there.
I know.
Oh man. Okay, but have either of y'all ever lived in a small town?
Exactly. Not
it do be like that.
Really?
Oh my God, nothing exciting ever happens in a small town. And when you've got Mr. Phone Operator going, hey girl, here's the tea, let me tell you, you're like, something's happening.
Yeah.
This like, never happens. This is news to me. And now you got to go look. And
okay,
it's just
I can see it.
Yeah.
I lived in a real small town when I was little, and it'd be one of those things like my grandma still lives there, and something happens to the neighbors of the cousin down the street, and all of a sudden, ding dong, someone's at grandma's door, and they're like, you are never gonna guess what just happened. And now we got sweet tea and we're sitting on the porch and we're like, oh my God, tell me everything.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone was bored and they're like, finally, and they like ran over there.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But like morbid curiosity kind of deal. But
anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are just kind of like walking through the rooms, touching things. It's a free-for-all. And then the county coroner shows up, Dr. Lindquist, and he is basically like, what the hell is going on? He is appalled by how many people are coming through, and he's pushing the sheriff to get the scene secured. The sheriff's like walking through like himself, like not even, he's like,
he's like, y'all see this one over here?
Yeah, this one over here? But the point is it takes them hours to finally like get people to stop coming through. So from the jump, this investigation has a problem. Whatever the killer left behind in that house, footprints, a clean trail, is no longer pristine. Now we are not even gonna get into the investigation because this thing is unsolved. So we're gonna go into, unless you want me to go into like some of the people that they looked into, some of the trial stuff.
Totally your call. I've got quite an assortment of things to talk about here. So
I say let's pass it over to Chelsea, and she's going to take us through theories and why people still cling on to this story. Not just because it's unsolved, because there are some wild theories out there. So Chelsea, Oh, and I'm just going to do a quick time check. We're at just about 30. So probably after your section, I'll pause it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Wave me down if you need to. So like you said, there are a lot of theories about the Villisca Axe murders, the murders of the Moore and Stillinger girls. And they do primarily base around who could have done it. But I want to take it out, zoom it out a little bit, because I don't believe that these murders were an isolated incident. And a lot of people don't believe this was an isolated incident. It was treated as one, but as a whole, this is part of at least 6 other family annihilations that all took place in the same frame of time. And they all have a lot of similarities. So I kind of want to get into the theory that this was a serial killer.
Hell yeah.
So I had not been familiar with this theory at all. When I visited the actual Villisca house, it's about an hour and a half south of me, this was not even brought up. They went into all the different possible culprits, and not a single one mentioned that the newspapers of the time even were reporting this is one man that's done all of these killings. Like these dots have been connected for a very long time, but it's never been truly pursued in the way that it deserves, I think. But I became familiar with this theory when I found a book that was called The Man from the Train. And it was written by Bill James and his daughter, Rachel McCarthy. And so in this book, the authors have a very specific suspect that they focused on, and they go in depth through all of these cases that they've drawn dots between that they link to one man that was named Paul Mueller. And I'll get into him. But of the 39 roughly family annihilations that they attributed to this Paul, I found that only about 6 of them truly share convincing amount of similarities. And that one of those is the Villisca murders. And so they tie in almost identically to 5 other family annihilations throughout the general Midwest area in that time. Whoa. So that's kind of what I want to get into.
I'm so cool excited right now.
So the very first one that truly shares all of the characteristics, which I will get into, which you touched on a few, Colleen. So that's why I had to go in and fix my notes really quick, because I'm like, oh, that one too. But on September 17th, 1911, in Colorado Springs, Colorado, there was a family, a husband, a wife, and a baby. They were the Wayne family, and they were, bludgeoned with an axe, specifically the blunt side. They were not hacked, they were hit.
What?
The bodies and all of the mirrors in the house were covered with sheets. The murderer then left the house, all of the windows covered, all of the doors locked, exited through a window, presumably, went next door, killed another woman, Alice Burnham, and her 2 children while they slept.
Oh my God.
Once again, the bodies were covered, the mirrors were covered, and further investigation into the crime discovered an axe at the back door, left in plain sight, covered in blood. And it was an axe that had been loaned to Mrs. Wayne by a neighbor. So it was an axe that was collected at the scene and left at the scene. Mm-hmm. However, in this case, that weapon was dismissed and deemed as something that was used to kill chickens. And they never, that's just a little tidbit.
What?
Whatever. But it's like, that's a murder weapon. I'm sorry. It just is.
It might have been used to kill chickens. You know what else it was used for? To kill these people, you idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
To their credit, there wasn't really DNA testing or anything at the time. So there was no way to verify. However, you have a whole family murdered with an axe, 2 whole families murdered with an axe, and then you have an axe covered in blood at the scene. Yeah. And it just, I've got 1 and 2, 1 and 1. I'm going to make 2, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, that's just me.
But
I don't have a college degree, but I have some ideas.
I have common sense.
Say that's a rarity these days. So
True.
One other thing to note is that the night of these murders, it was a Sunday night. So Fast forward to October 1st, 1911, in Monmouth, Illinois. William Dawson, his wife, and his 13-year-old daughter are
murdered with an axe.
Say the B word. Oh, murdered with an axe. The parents were killed first. Then the daughter appeared to have been awakened by something happening because she appears to have tried to defend herself before being hit. This happened on a Sunday. Fast forward, October 15th, 1911, in Ellsworth, Kansas, William Showman, his wife, and his 3 children were struck by an axe in their sleep. The axe was found in the bedroom with them. So again, the axe is left in plain sight. This is on a Sunday. Now we're in Paola, Kansas on June 5th, 1912. Guess what day of the week it is?
Sunday.
It's a Sunday. Ding, ding, ding. The Hudson family are murdered with an axe. Their bodies are covered with the comforter in their bed. The house was locked up. The murderer fled through a window, which was covered from the inside. An axe covered in blood and hair was found 200 yards from the house. Once again, the weapon is dismissed as a hunting tool.
What? That's crazy.
The next in our string is June 1912 in Villisca, Iowa, on a Sunday night after church. We know all about that one because of our lovely friend Colleen. But then, on Sunday, July 5th, 1914, we jump ahead a couple of years, Blue Island, Illinois, the Mislish family, the husband and wife, their adult daughter, and her 7-month-old daughter are murdered in their home with an axe. The blunt side of an axe, shall I say. Now, interesting notes about,
So I didn't read or I didn't see, but were the Villisca ones blunt too? Like,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So those, I have seen the axe marks in the ceiling of the bedroom of the Villisca house. And it was what they believe there's a big gash in the ceiling. And what they believe that particular gash was he struck down, swung up so violently that the blade of the axe got stuck in the ceiling. And he had to wiggle it loose.
Oh, not the wiggling.
Yeah, there was a lot of wiggling.
Yuck.
Yikes.
So in these 6 murders that I just listed, all of these things are true. Bear with me here. All of the murders occurred just after, sometime closely within the moon phase changing from a last dark quarter. I pulled that from a newspaper in 1914. Sorry. All of these murders are on Sunday nights. Mm-hmm. All of them were committed within a short walk of a railroad junction in a small town with little to no police force. All of these families had no dogs, did have barns. All of these families were killed with the blunt edge of an axe. The axe was left in plain sight. All of these murders, the victims were covered with sheets, as well as the windows and mirrors being covered. No robbery was ever seen. The house was largely quiet and peaceful looking. Typically, the adults were murdered first, children following, and particularly prepubescent girls showed defense wounds or other wounds or signs of struggle, as well as veiled hintings at possible sexual assault of these girls.
Yeah.
A lot of them believe that the killer remained in the house after the murders for an unknown time. As we saw in the Villisca house, there was evidence of someone kind of hanging out. Your note about someone, there's a theory that he may have eaten in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
There is another theory that I pulled from a newspaper as well, that the where that comes from is there is a slab of bacon found on the table. Oh. And it's believed that he may have been eating. The newspaper proposed that because of some male evidence left at the scene, that the bacon was used.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sick.
Sorry.
I'm a vegetarian.
But yeah, so that's a thing. But another reason that they think that the killer hung out there for a while, because at every single one of these murder scenes, an oil lamp was found with its chimney removed and the wick turned down very low. There was one case in which this was not present, but at that crime scene, there was a flashlight.
Oh.
So he was likely moving around in the dark with low level light.
No, I'm sorry. I just literally was like, they have flashlights back?
Okay, I was thinking.
No, I had the same thought too. It was like, what? It's like a little lightning bug. He's just projecting. You know?
You're like, dang, high tech for 1912.
Now I need to Google, when was a flashlight invented?
There's so many times where I'm like, wait a second, they had that? Like,
they had that? What do you mean? There was one other case that cannot be definitively tied. It does not have all of the same signs, but it is very interesting, which was just this is obviously terrible, but it was a case in December of 1912 in Columbus, Missouri, where two women lived together in a house and they were bludgeoned with an axe on a Sunday night. So, not saying it's related. I just wanted to throw it out there because I did find it in my findings and I thought it was interesting.
That's very interesting.
But there was, in the book that I read, one particular man that was fingered as the most likely suspect by the authors, and that is a German immigrant by the name of Paul Müller. And not much is known of him. He was widely described as sullen and disagreeable, and no one really knew much about him. He also only spoke broken English, so there wasn't a whole lot of information exchanged with this guy. But he worked as a hired farmhand, kind of bopped around. He had just gotten fired from a job, or walked out on a job, and then was hired by the Newton farm. He did claim to have been a sailor, and this tracked because he had several tattoos. All of them were nautical themed, and also largely at this time, only sailors had tattoos. He was described as short and stocky with a long dark mustache and always wearing a checkered golf cap. He was the primary suspect in the 1898 murders of the Newton family, who had just hired him as a farmhand. Neighbors discovered the Newton family's bodies after being alerted to strange behavior by the cattle at the Newton farm. They knocked at the door. They knocked at the door and circled the house, but they saw no signs of light or activity because the windows had been covered. They forced entry into the house, but they found it completely ransacked, and they found 4 dead bodies. The 3 Newtons were slain in their beds, as well as one of their other farmhands, Francis. The family had all been killed with the blunt side of an axe. The sheets had been pulled up over the male victims' faces. However, the women were found with defensive wounds. Sorry about it. Genital mutilation. Mm-hmm. And the women both had their nightgowns flipped up over their heads, and they were on display.
Wow.
Yes. The killer had then robbed the house and then unsuccessfully attempted to burn it down, but the flame had fizzled out and the whole scene was still preserved. Additionally, to note here is the family had been drugged before being murdered. Oh. So the only person missing from the scene was Paul Müller, and he was never seen again. He fled in the night. No one ever found him, but he is largely attributed to the Newton family murder. And in The Man from the Train, this is who they posit as the most likely murderer. And they credit him to a lot of other murders as well, but they don't have really definitive proof. The only real similarities are the face coverings, which again, weird, but also in considering the time in the religious practicing, is it that weird?
Common.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then it was also the blunt side of an axe every time.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. But it doesn't carry, like I said, all of the similarities that those earlier 6 cases that I got into did, where they had all those different things in common. Mm-hmm. And then the religious thing that I pointed out earlier, they believe that due to the timing of the killings in the moon phase, that it was like so specific. And then the fact that they were all on Sunday nights, that it was actually kind of a religious psychosis kind of deal, maybe. And so that could play into like why he's covering them, if you want to go with that.
Interesting.
Yes. So German immigrant?
He was a German immigrant, and then there's a lot of theories about where he went after the Newton family incident. So some people say that he completely disappeared, but then he reappeared in the Pacific Northwest in 1911. And then around that same time, there was a string of axe murders in the Pacific Northwest. And then he also is mentioned in relation to the Hinterkaifeck murders in Germany in 1922. So they think maybe he did a bunch over here, hopped back to Germany, and did a bunch over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so that is their theory. But in my readings, I discovered a name that I'd never heard before. So as I'm digging through all of these newspaper articles from 1912 to 1914, I found a name, and that is one I'm going to butcher. It's Villisca Axe, and he was a Bulgarian immigrant who had confessed in 1910 to the murder of Jenny Cleghorn with an axe in Chicago. He was deported to Europe after this murder, and then somehow got loose because they weren't paying enough attention to him over there. And he came back to America, and he said, "Hi, here I am again." And also, the man who was investigating all of these murders around the Midwest, he started sending this guy letters and was taunting him.
Oh my God.
Yes. And one more interesting thing is that his very last correspondence that ever came into this policeman was from Colorado, days before the Colorado Springs murder.
What? That's crazy.
I don't know.
I do sort of love when they send letters taunting. Just, I don't know why. I know it's like so bad, but like, I'm kind of like, I like the trolling of it all.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into the Circleville letters?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that seems like it'd be up your alley.
Yeah. That's what I've been holding on to because I want to do for one of our live shows, just because it's like,
ooh,
you know, like it's kind of like dark Bridgerton in a way. And yeah, I knew you would like that.
I love Bridgerton.
I know the first season they write letters, right? That's the whole thing. It's like a letter.
Yeah, Lady Whistledown.
Perfect.
I imagine it's the exact same thing. Dear gentle readers, I bludgeoned a body.
I bludgeoned. That's it. That's the whole letter. Just I bludgeoned.
That's
it. She signs it off like
that was my PowerPoint presentation.
I know.
Well, awesome. We sold it. I don't know.
That was it.
Done.
I'm saying I'm trying to figure out when he got deported to see if it lines up with any of the breaks in the murder that happened, because he took a break from 1912 to 1914. What was he doing? Where did he go? Cotton Eye Joe, whatever. Where is he?
Imagine you solved it though.
I'm saying
it goes viral. They're like, this girl solved the 19.
We're literally gonna call this episode "We Solved the Villisca Axe Murders." You're welcome.
I would like to thank Ancestry.com for letting me use their newspaper.
I was just here for the ride. I didn't solve anything, but I just listened.
No, they were here with me through all of it. We all did this together. It was a joint effort. Thank you so much, History Channel and awards shows. Thank you.
Yep. We'll take the Pulitzer now. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Is that the one that's for journalism?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Pulitzer and Hearst, they think we're nothing. Are we nothing? No, it's Newsies. Nobody's seen Newsies?
Sorry. More of a Mamma Mia girly.
Newsies, that's a treat. It's Christian Bale singing Boy. So fantastic. Ooh. Yeah.
Hear ye, full circle. Aw.
Yeah. That was amazing, though. That was fun.
I know.
That's so much.
Thanks. I usually am more organized than that, I promise.
It felt very
That was like super organized. I don't know what you're talking about.
As I did my notes during Colleen's story. Yeah. Thanks for the credit.
Like, oh yeah.
I mean, mute my microphone while I type and talk about the bacon.
Not the bacon. That was crazy.
Oh no.
Colleen, you're haunted. What's going on?
Oh yeah, you are.
That's because I moved out of the room, so it like blurred everything.
Are there more theories, or were those all the theories?
So that's kind of depressing theory. I think like not depressing, but like that's the one that's kind of gaining the most traction right now. And I think the one that has kind of the most evidence behind it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was kind of specific to each case. Mm-hmm. So there were, I think I read like 7 people were lynched in relation to like
murders,
all of these murders, because they kept being attributed to like random people, largely African American people.
Yeah.
Ew, like so icky.
Yeah.
Do better. I'm just saying.
That time period, man.
Ugh, the worst. Yeah. I mean, like still not
I guess
good, but
hasn't progressed.
Sorry about it. Sorry about it. I'm really sorry. But there were a lot of like individuals that like there's a guy that is buried in the Villisca cemetery who in his life was kind of ostracized because they believed that he did it, and people still desecrate his grave to this day.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And they've like disproved like he had nothing to do with it, and people still like go knock his tombstone over and spray paint it, and like it's so people had their lives ruined over this.
One guy was like
and ended over this.
Mm-hmm. One guy was prosecuted, or not. Well, he confessed to it, but I think it was like a coerced confession. Like,
yeah, there was
the Reverend.
There was a lot of exactly. That's the one. Yeah, and he like went back and he's like, no, I didn't. Or there was like another guy where he could. Maybe it wasn't the Villisca one. Maybe it was a different one. But it was like he confessed and then recanted and then confessed and then recanted, and he just wanted the attention, or was mentally ill, or both.
We're like, sir, you're done. Okay,
you're done. You only get 2 confessions.
Sit down.
Sit down.
It's not a punch card. You don't get like.
You got to at least confess to different murders each time to get punched.
Can't just wake up and see how you're feeling.
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
I'm feeling guilty today.
I did kill that family.
I'm feeling kind of guilty.
Are you Catholic? It just kind of comes with the territory, babe.
It's built into your DNA at that point.
Literally. I left the church I don't know how long ago, and I still wake up like, we did a bad thing.
I feel bad for something today. I don't know what it is. I'll just apologize to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I knock over a candle. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to hell.
You're like, is that a sin I can't remember?
I don't know. There's so many. Sorry to all the Catholics out there.
So we're fine.
You good?
My aunt tried to. She's like, oh my God, I saw you started a podcast. Let's like, what's the name? And I was like, no. No, you don't want to know what I'm like. I promise. I don't know what you're talking about. What's a podcast?
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back for the paranormal.
Okay, you guys ready to get into this?
Always.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have some paranormal stuff too?
I have just a little personal tale.
Okay.
From my visit to Villisca.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, I'll start by saying in 1994, Darwin and Martha Lynn purchased the home, and began restoring it to its 1912 condition. I thought it was kind of interesting because they like took out all of like the modern, even like the plumbing and stuff. Like they switched it back to the old plumbing. So I was like,
That's a choice.
I thought so too, because it's like, you can't really see it, but like nobody's going to know.
Right.
So in 1998, the home was open for tours, overnight stays, and for paranormal investigations. So the house was sitting for 86 years after the murders before it was investigated, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I imagine like the ghosts like getting like riled up. They're like ready for like the first investigation.
Training for those 86 years.
Yeah.
Like, remember how we talked about ghost levels? Like these ghosts are like level 1,000. Like throw chairs, turn off lights, like do all the crazy stuff. So in 2024, the property was purchased by Lance Zoll, who is associated with the U.S. Ghost Adventures. But let's talk about some of the paranormal activity that went down in the home after being open to the public, starting with the craziest one. So on November 7th, 2014, Robert Larson, who was staying at the home participating in a paranormal investigation, suddenly stabbed himself in the chest.
Oh.
Yeah, it escalated very quick.
With what? Like just a knife?
A knife.
Okay.
He didn't bludgeon himself. I feel like that would be hard to do.
You have to be really dedicated.
That's what I was thinking.
So the others who were also there for the paranormal investigation found him bleeding with self-inflicted wounds inside the Stillinger's girls' bedroom and called for help. And as a note, this happened at 12:45 in the morning, which from what I read, that was around the time they started, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's correct. And initially, when he was interviewed about what happened, he said he didn't remember stabbing himself, which I don't know when they interviewed him. I don't know if this is them questioning him in the hospital or like who knows? He might have just not remembered at the time. Later on, he said that something in the house talked to him or tried to provoke him, and that's around the time he ended up stabbing himself.
What the heck?
Yeah.
I don't really like that very much.
I don't either. I know, because it's just like, you could do that for attention, but why would you do that?
You could do that
right.
for attention?
To get like publicity as like a ghost hunter if you're insane, but like, why would you do that?
Yeah. The only thing I can think is like, was he in an altered mental state in some way that he was more susceptible to kind of manipulation and things like that?
Yeah.
Because that's the, like, I've never heard of like that level of influence before. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I have, but I can't remember. I'll have to look into it after this. But I feel like, yeah, you would have, because I mean, that's essentially like a possession.
Right.
Like taking over you. Which is
okay,
really
Zach Bagans.
And also, I feel like, who knows like how respectful also he was being? You never know, because they're also like, fuck around and find out. You want some of this? Let's go.
Let's go.
So anyway, the parlor. So I put the parlor or downstairs guest room. I don't know if that's the same thing. That's what I read.
They're connected.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like you come, sorry to hijack for a second.
No.
You come in the front door and you're in the kitchen kind of dining area, which is like very small. Mm-hmm. And then off the kitchen is the staircase that goes up to the 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
And then off the kitchen going the other way is the little parlor and then the Stillinger girls' room.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. So in this area of the house, fog is reported to roll into the room around 2 a.m. And they say it's when you can hear like the train whistling.
Oh, that's so spooky.
I know. When you said that one of the suspects that you thought could be the suspects rode the train, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Train? Children that visit the house have been seen playing under the bed with an unseen.
Don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Oh, but that also makes me really sad. Like they're hiding.
I know.
It's so
like
gross
sad,
and so
like,
sad.
Under the bed, though, I'm like, don't play under the bed.
No.
Play like somewhere else. Yeah. So since that's where the what?
Like the Sixth Sense when she's in that, not like the girl under the bed, the one that's sick or something. You don't remember that scene?
I haven't seen that movie in a while.
I've never seen it.
Don't watch it.
I'm surprised you watched it, actually.
I'm surprised I watched. I think I was like young and just trying to be cool with a friend on a sleepover. I get convinced to try and make people think I'm cool. So I
give into peer pressure.
But anyway, so it's assumed that those were the Stillinger girls playing under the bed with the child. And in that room, in photos taken, orbs are seen, strikes of light, and then dark spots appear that aren't actually seen in real life. The dark spots kind of scare me. I don't really like that.
Yeah.
Are they, when the dark spots appear, are they like shaped like humans?
I don't know. Well, the ones that I've seen, and I mean, I can look up pictures of what they're saying, but like when I've seen dark spots, like they're saying of like ghosts or whatever, I feel like it's more of a black, like blob.
Okay.
But then I've also seen like shadow people too, so I don't know. But dark spots just makes me think of like a dark area.
Yeah.
But like black, not like it's covered by like something as like a shadow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just had a thought too.
Mm-hmm.
So Lena Stillinger was the one that they believe was awake and knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. And it's in her room that you see a child hiding under the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what if that's like her thing? Where like she knows what's gonna happen.
So she hides?
Well,
so I was gonna get into like all of the rest of these hauntings. It kind of sounds like a residual haunting a little bit, because it's like you can hear like the footsteps, and then you can hear, I think this is in the attic and the upstairs, but you can hear the dragging of something. So it's like they're thinking he's either dragging the axe or dragging like a body or something like that. And then, well, I'll get into this right now too. So the attic, a lot of people think that the killer may have like hidden up there before and after the murders. Like he could have been like watching them or something like that, because there's a lot of like oppressive energy up there, but there were no murders up there. So that's where they think that he could have possibly stayed. They hear rustling movements and footsteps. They've seen shadow figures and the temperature dropping suddenly, specifically near the entrance of the attic. And the shadow people kind of like make me think the residual haunting too, because I don't know, that could be them just like replaying the scene over again. People report that the atmosphere, kind of what I just said, the oppressive energy, but heavy emotionally, and they describe it as, instead of like, not like so much sad up there, but more like frightening. Just like, I don't like that. And again, that's where the dragging sound comes from.
That's such a jerk move by him to like drag the axe. You know what I mean? Like if it's, because I feel like he wouldn't have done that like in the house, like while it was happening. So like that's a choice that he's doing, and I don't appreciate it.
I don't either.
This is all lining up. So full disclosure, I've been there, but I've never looked into the hauntings here ever.
Oh, really?
I know two things, and it's what I was told at the place, at the tour. But this is lining up so exactly perfectly with my personal experience there. It's giving me goosebumps, and I like it. I'm over here like hiding behind my sweater, like no,
having flashbacks. Well, I'm almost through. I only had so the master bedroom, there wasn't a lot reported there except for cold spots and like the emotional heaviness are reported in that room, I would assume, because it's the parents. Children's bedrooms, on EVPs, children's voices are heard talking, laughing, or crying. Shadow figures, but child-sized, are seen upstairs reportedly by the foot of the beds or standing in the doorways. And then people during overnight stays say the toys will be rearranged throughout the night, so it'll be different like in the morning.
Oh, no thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I'm sorry, but that is scary.
Anything to do with toys, I'm like, goodbye, bye. Like,
yeah, I'm more afraid of it like coming to life.
Yeah. Like if you wake up and there's a porcelain doll sitting on your chest.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm the new ghost here. Awesome. I'm dead now. I had a heart attack and died.
I'm dead now. And okay, so I pulled up Google reviews from
That's amazing.
looking for some good stuff, and I'm gonna send you guys the link.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for this.
So that you could see while I'll read it out loud too, but like there's pictures involved. So this review says, and this was only 4 months ago, I thought it was an okay visit the first time we went, but today me and my fiance and our kids went to go visit, and the tour guide is amazing. He lets us walk through on our own. We walked around, then went up the stairs. That's when it all started. My chest got really heavy. Everybody went into the attic first. Then I went last. While we were in there, my son started crying, saying something touched him. My oldest daughter said she heard little voices, and then all the kids heard it, and footsteps. And I think, footsteps. I sat down behind my daughter while she took pictures, and I picked up a letter to read it. And that's when I was attacked. I got scratched bad. I started crying and ran out telling my fiance what happened. And that's when my daughter lifted up my shirt and seen the scratches on my back. So I don't know. Did you guys open it?
Yes.
The scratches are crazy.
Whoa.
Like, that's intense. Sorry, I couldn't see you. I was in the other tab.
Oh, that like broke skin.
Yeah.
Ew.
I know. That is very spooky to me.
I'm not looking. I'm not going to look. Sorry.
I'm not going to look. And that
understandable.
That's a fair choice to make.
And then I saw another one, just one more. And it's just because it's like a ghost picture. I feel like I couldn't really see it. I don't want to see
looking. I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to look again. So for the people listening, it's a picture of a chair, and supposedly there is a person sitting in it. She says there's 2 apparitions.
It looks like, if you zoom in.
Are you talking about the seat?
Yeah.
Okay, I see that.
Doesn't it look like those theater masks, like the comedy and tragedy masks?
Yeah, it does.
It's the
It
first
looks like
thing I
it's
saw.
coming out. I don't know if that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't.
It has to be, because that's like literally a face.
Okay, and then
Zoom in.
Like I see where there's a person, but is that not just the person that took the picture?
Oh, in the second picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the person that...
I was really hoping I'd be able to be like, oh my god, the ghost.
I know.
I believe that is the shadow figure of a cockapoo. You can see his little paw as he performs the trick beg, and then you can see his little weird smush nose where it should be, but he doesn't have one because he's a void. And then the curl, you can kind of get there. You just gotta use your imagination.
The far right, the black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The little black void in the far right.
I was looking at the white thing with the red. I was like, I'm not seeing a comment.
But anyway, what are you on?
Listening, we'll post the pictures.
Yeah.
We'll post them on social media so you know what we're talking about.
Yes.
But I want to hear your story.
Okay.
If you're not afraid to tell it.
No, it's
no pressure.
It's like, it's not that. I mean, for the listeners at home, it's very exciting. This was before I started like properly ghost hunting, but with one of the gals that I ghost hunt with, my friend Amber. Mm-hmm. I went with her and her sister and her aunt and uncle. And we make a little road trip. We go down there. We're the last tour of the day. We're just doing a little walkthrough tour. And we do all the things. They tell us the history, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, you guys want to hang out for a little bit? You're the last ones. And I was like, yeah, duh. And so we're hanging out. We're doing whatever. We're walking through all the rooms. We don't have any like equipment or anything with us. And so I told you kind of the layout of the downstairs. And then the staircase is like this little skinny little thing up. And then you are in the bedroom. Like there's no separation between any of the rooms upstairs. And so it's, you walk up the stairs, you are in the master bedroom. There's a big bed right here under this slanted ceiling. And then to your left, there's a little bit of a half wall, and you've got their dresser with the mirror covered. And then past the staircase is this little hallway, and that goes straight into the children's room. In between there, that's where the attic entrance is. And the attic entrance is just a closet. So there's no doors. There's this little area where you can step inside where they had the chamber pot. And then there's a little crawl space, and that's the attic. And so when in theory, the killer was hiding in this attic, he came out straight into the bedroom at the foot of the parents' bed. Oh. And so they think he came in while they were at church and hid in there until they were all asleep and came out.
Oh my God.
So the one thing that our tour guide told us is our good friends over at Ghost Adventures, they had visited here, and they had an EMF reader on every single bed in the house. And at about 12:45 in the morning, they get a hit in the master bedroom, hit children's bed, hit children's bed, hit children's bed, hit children's bed, down the stairs, Stillinger room, bed, EMF reader. It all goes off. And so they think that's the order in which it was done. And that tracks with all of the other cases, right? Yeah. So that's just kind of the layout. So we come upstairs, pass through the bedroom, into the kids' bedroom. There's toys everywhere. Everyone that visits brings a toy as an offering. And one thing that's really important about this is the house is visibly slanted. And so you can look at the floor, and it's like you can see the hill, right? So this group of us are sitting in a circle, and we're rolling a little ball back and forth to each other across the circle. And we're like, you know...
Oh, sorry. I got scared.
I couldn't tell if you were saying something.
I was like really into it. I was like, I'm done.
So we're rolling. Sorry to break the immersion. We're rolling the ball back and forth across to each other. And I'm sitting at the top of the slant. Okay. I roll the ball down the slant towards my friend Hope. And I'm calling out, if anyone's in here with us and you want to play with us, come jump in and grab the ball. Roll it to one of us. I'm going to wait for Tayler to come back.
Oh, I'm still listening.
Okay.
I just opened my door to let Peter out, but...
I was trying. I'm like, I don't want to be rude. So I roll the ball down the slant, gets to the middle of all of us, and it comes to a dead stop. It rolls once in a circle and comes up the hill back into my lap.
No, that's crazy. What were you doing? Like at the time, were you just like, what the fuck?
I was like, thank you so much. And I'm like covered in goosebumps, like I'm shivering. I'm like, that was the coolest thing ever. And I also peed my pants a little bit, but it's fine. But that was the first time I'd had a shared paranormal experience before, where I could like look at other people and be like, y'all saw that, right? And we were all like, jaws on the floor, right?
I bet.
And so we tell them thank you. We roll it around a few more times. It never happens again. And we end up, it's time to wrap up. It's time to go. We start making our way downstairs. And in my practice, ghost hunting, I am a very firm believer that you should thank your spirits, your host, right? And I was like, I just feel like I like feel like really connected to the kids up there. And so I was like, I'm going to go back up and just say bye to them. And I go up the stairs, and I'm going towards the children's bedroom, past the little attic entrance. I make it into the children's bedroom. I do my little spiel. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. You know, that really meant a lot to me. I'm really sorry about your circumstances, yada, yada, yada. I start to walk back out. I get past that, I get right past the attic entrance. And it was just this rush came up on me. And it was like, I felt the air, I felt the chill. And it was just this dark, oppressive, just like the most terrifying feeling I've ever had, like just primal fear. And I had no explanation for it. And it felt like something was like standing over me, like breathing down my neck. Oh, and it followed me to the top of the stairs. And I went downstairs and it didn't follow.
Oh my God.
But it was just like, it was such a, like my brain just processed it so quick of like, I am actively in danger. And I had no explanation for it.
Right now.
And I had just come from such a like warm engagement with this kid's room. And then it was like, I walked out and it was just like a wall of just malice.
Insane.
And so when you were saying like next to the attic entrance, people feel that really heavy, oppressive, like malevolent energy. And I 100% felt that. I've never been back to the house. I am fully going to admit I'm a little too nervous to go back there because it was such a like in my stomach, I am in danger right now feeling. And I just don't really want to vibe with that, to be honest.
No. And I mean, that's crazy hearing that from you, like firsthand. That And then like literally like there's so many, like there's like, I think like 40,000 reviews on this house, but so many of them said the same thing about that attic space. And that just felt like scary. Like they didn't.
And that was 100% the impression that I got, is that it's like, excuse me. It was just this, like, I felt like it felt like a very male presence. Like I don't say this often. I'm kind of sensitive to things and can kind of really feel them out really well. It felt like a male presence. And it was like it was a warning is what it felt like. And so it's really interesting that you brought that first review where our first visit was fine. And then the second one, it's like, I have this feeling that if I go back there, it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart for the other spirits that are very clearly there. That he's there and intelligent enough to know that he still needs to be big bad boss guy. And he's going to scare everyone. And then the little girl hiding under the bed.
I know.
And the other thing that drew me back to that was the EMF hits. That, like, I don't put a lot of stock in Mr. Zach Bagans. I'm going to be real with you. But when you get that kind of pattern that lines up so well with the facts, and then you introduce this other thing that, like, what if it's kind of a mix of like an intelligent residual where he's going around and still terrorizing each of these people, and that's why she's hiding under the bed. Like that I know I'm drawing my own picture here, but it makes my heart hurt.
No, that does. And I didn't really think of it that way, because I feel like when I think of the residual hauntings, it's more like their spirits aren't there anymore, but it's just like the essence of it. But yeah, if they're replaying that like every single day, like that's horrible. Or who knows, maybe he's replaying it every single day and they've moved on, and maybe like they left their essence of like their children, like their lighter energies. So they're going to play with you and roll the ball. But I would like to think it's not them stuck there. Like that is just the most awful thought in the world. And I drew so many lines in my head just now that I'm like, oh, and now I'm sad. I know. That's crazy though. That's a scary experience.
That's so
didn't love it.
Not a fan.
Not a huge fan. But like also it didn't scare me off enough because I've been ghost hunting for 10 years now. So hi, Sweeney.
I saw the taking camera.
I've been watching him kind of shark around a little bit for the last couple of minutes. I'm like, just waiting.
Well, that was pretty much all of the paranormal activity that I had to report. So I hope you guys liked my little segment.
It was beautiful. This was fun.
Thank you so much for doing this with us. This was so much fun, and I
had such a blast. Let's do 6 more.
I'm down. We still need to do a ghost stories episode.
Yes.
We'll definitely plan that.
I'll try to be less teacher brain next time, and I'll be more entertaining, and I'll just be so dazzling and charming all the time, the whole time.
That's how you were on this.
I was gonna say.
Oh wow! I can't believe you wrote all those. Like wrote your entire script like an hour and a half before. I would not be able to do that.
Well, let's go. Procrastination.
Well, he does that too, though. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Yeah, sometimes he'll be like, I was writing it the same day that I came over to record.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes I change my story the day of, like, because again,
I'm so bad about that.
Like, or I'll be like really committed that I'm like, I've done this story, I have to finish it. But then it's like, it's just not coming together the way I want it to. So then I have to like fix it and stuff. And yeah, so it'll be like, Taylor, I'll be there at 3, and then 6:30 rolls around and I'm still not there.
I'm like, you're fine. Let's come whenever you're ready.
He knows I'm not going to be on time.
So that wraps up our episode. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for doing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
There will be more.
Yes, this was so fun. I had such a good time. Thank you. Thanks for coming over to play, or letting me come over to play, actually.
Girl, you're always welcome.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
well, now I have to have you on my show too, obviously. So
we would love that. Second date. Oh my god.
Yeah, second date. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm nervous.
It's so getting
fun.
Serious, guys.
It is.
I think I really like them.
I love it.
Mom, I've found the one.
I did tell my husband, I'm like, we have a friend. Like,
I'm so honored.
I know. But anyway, I know it's late for you, Chelsea, so
8 o'clock, you got me up past my bedtime. Don't you know I have 3rd grade to teach in the morning?
Oh, no.
The lesson going to be on the Villisca Axe murders, because we've just practiced.
God. This is what I did with my night.
Yeah. Hello, children. Welcome to history. Let's get into it.
There you go.
So in 1912.
You will not be sleeping tonight, children. Okay, that was kind of dark. Did we read it that way? Kids died. That sounded so bad.
You know, on that note,
my bad. Anyway, guys, well, have a good night.
Later.
So fun.
bye.
Bye.